there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. I'm your host, Abel, and on today's podcast, I have a special guest with me, Therese from Posh and Posy. Therese, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me.
For sure. So, Posh and Posy, guys, just in case you all are not aware, um, they are a modern balloon styling kind of like, I would say you also looks like you do like a lot of like you also offer like backdrops and kind of work with like you do special events, and I know you have
hmm
like the brick and mortar store from, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we
Um
do.
so um just all around, you have to follow Posh and Posy on Instagram. First things, like the second you guys go look at it, her Instagram or the business Instagram, you're gonna be like, okay, I need this in my life. So Therese, let's start with the very beginning. How did you come up with the idea of doing this type of business?
So at the very, very beginning, we were called Posh and Posy Papery, and we specialized in paper flowers. So I really and I've always been a crafter. So always enjoyed like making different things. And with the paper flowers, I feel like we really found a niche because at that time they were pretty trendy, so everybody wanted them for like baby showers and stuff. Um, but they took so long to make, so we started renting them out. So we would put them up as a backdrop for your wedding, your baby shower, your party, and then we would come back and pick them up. So we ended up having like huge storages, like just full of tons of paper flowers. And then we just kind of followed the trend into balloons and decided that we wanted to get a brick and mortar. So, but when we got the brick and mortar, it's really big, so we have a lot of space to do other things too. And I feel like it's taken us a little while to kind of figure out who we are like as a brand and kind of settle into a party brand. But yeah, so now we do all kinds of balloon styling, anything balloon related, helium balloon bouquets, all that kind of stuff. And then we have a party shop. In our brick and mortar, we have a bunch of party supplies and gifts, like quirky gifts, stuff like that. And we also have photo rooms. So we decorate them seasonally, and you guys can come in and take pictures.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I definitely need to go by
Yeah.
and check that out. So how did you come up with the name Posh and Posy? How did you come up with that?
You know what? A lot of people ask me that, and I don't know. I really don't remember. I knew that I liked the term papery. I think it's a French word. I think it's a French word for like stationery or something.
Okay.
But I liked that. Thought that word was cute, so I basically was just trying to find two other words that started with P, and so I just came up with Posh and Posy. But I didn't want it to be posy like the flower, so I just went with POSY. And it is an actual word. It actually means like a group of flowers or a bouquet or something like that.
That is so cool. Like, and it sounds just so like elegant too. It's like it's funny that you didn't like intentionally come up with that, right? Like,
No.
but it just sounds like you. It sounds like something that you would have thought like intent, like come with
Like we
intent.
intended it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you're
cool.
like,
And a lot of people ask me that.
yeah, the name just sounds so elegant. You're like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Right? You're like, "Oh, that was totally on purpose."
So, how long have you been doing this? I know you said that you started with the paper flowers and stuff. How
Mhm.
long how long ago did you start? And then how long ago did you get into like the balloon kind of thing?
So we started with paper flowers in May of 2017.
Okay.
Our actual anniversary, like the first day that we ever posted on Instagram was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we like to try to celebrate every Cinco de Mayo. But yeah, that's our anniversary. So we'll be coming up this coming May. It'll be 5 years.
That's awesome. And then getting into the balloon thing, how long from when you started with the paper flowers to balloons? How,
We
if you had
kind
to
of
guess?
started, yeah, we started balloons pretty quickly, like within the next year. So by
Okay.
2018, we were already putting up balloons because people were requesting them. So we just started learning, basically. It's been a long learning curve with balloons because they're kind of tricky. Um, they can be kind of finicky, but we've gotten a lot of experience and we've learned, which brands we like and stuff. So our next step is going to be launching DIY kits and start doing tutorials.
That is awesome. I love that. I was gonna ask you and get into that. Like balloons freak me out. I think they are so pretty, especially like the designs that you put together and your team put together. I think they are so pretty, but they freak me out because I'm like, at any moment this thing can explode and freak me out in public. So you say it took you a little bit of a learning curve. Did you experience any of that, like madness, like you're like, especially with like
Oh my
helium
gosh.
balloons and
Yes, especially with helium. Helium is so tricky. It can be so tricky, but yes, I've had like trying to learn how to attach vinyl onto the balloons and like pull the sticky off without
oh
popping the
god.
balloon. I think I wasted like at least half of the helium tank just trying to like find the right tools and the right stuff. But yes, I've had a big old balloon just pop right in my face and it does hurt.
That is like, I don't know why as a grown adult that freaks me out. Like
It is
balloons, like,
scary. Every single time you hear like the loud pop, like you still get a
it was so embarrassing because at work a few weeks ago we were doing seasonal hiring. We had a job fair and we had balloons, and inside the mall we like did balloons or whatever. And as we're setting up, like a couple like the balloons pop and it's like extremely loud and it echoes like in the food court. And so
Oh my
every
gosh.
it was so embarrassing, and I was like, oh my
Did everybody hit the floor?
no, everybody just kind of like looked. Everybody's just like, okay. I
Yeah,
was like, okay, this is not a good sign, y'all, because if I heard that as a shopper, I'd be running. But
for real. Especially like nowadays, right?
yeah, and so Posh and Pose is like the things that you do. What are some of the type of events? What would you say is the most popular event that you all get booked for? I know I see that you've done things for like obviously like weddings, birthdays, and then also for businesses as well. What would you say is like your most common booking?
We do a lot of corporate events. I'm really bad about posting on Instagram. I have so much work I haven't posted, but we do a lot of corporate events. We do tons of showers, baby showers, bridal showers, um, tons of bachelorette parties, which are super fun because they're usually in Port A. Um, we do a lot of work for Cinnamon Shore. So just
Saw
like
that.
whatever events that they have out there and people that rent those houses, they rent them when they're having, parties or whatever. So we go in and set up before they get there. Just all kinds of events really. And we also we don't do full event styling. So like you can't rent tables and chairs and linens and centerpieces and all of that stuff. So we focus on your backdrop.
Okay.
Yeah, we focus on the backdrop. And so we have all kinds of backdrop walls, shimmer walls, flower walls. Um, if there's something specific that they want, we usually try to make it happen. So,
Cool. And your team, I imagine when you started this, it was maybe, was it just you doing it at first? And
hmm
how has that evolved over time? And how did you teach, if you have a team, how did you teach this? Because like you said, it took you a long time to catch on to it, right? So
yeah.
how do you go about doing that?
Once I caught on, I kind of developed a style, so then I'm able to teach that to our team. But our team is still pretty much my family. So, my mom is my official business partner, and then we have one of her sisters, my aunt. She helps us out a lot, and then my fiance, and sometimes I force my brother when we have a lot to deliver. So it's
So
still
it's
very much family oriented, but we are looking to hire could be part of our family, but we are looking to hire for the holidays somebody to come out with us to installs, but also somebody to be at the shop every day so that we can have regular store hours.
that's cool. And I'm looking at your website right now. I love the website. It's like I'm like a web design geek, like a nerd, so I love good
Really?
Instagrams and I love good websites. And I love your website. It's
Thank you.
definitely.
Gerald Flores from Taco Gear created our website.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it looks so cool. And then
Mhm.
I see the flower wall that you're talking about. It's like one of the main backdrops on your website. That is
Yeah.
so neat. I had heard of them. I just wasn't familiar with them, but I
Yeah,
do.
we really need to do a better job of like advertising. But our website is pretty much focused around our photo rooms. But this coming holiday season, we're gonna link all of our items on there for sale, and also they'll also be able to order balloons from our website. So we're a work in progress,
Yeah.
always trying to keep it going.
So, what would you say is we talked about kind of the struggle, like obviously learning how to deal with the balloons and learning how to arrange them with the, you said the Velcro or the vinyl or whatever. And so
Hmm.
what would you say is one of like the funnest aspects of it, and like the thing that you look forward to the most when you're doing a setup or a corporate event? What is, we know the struggle. So what is one of like the kind of funner things that you look forward to?
I love to be there when the client sees the finished product. So I always try to be there, or I mean, I hope that they're there. Sometimes they have to set up way before they're there, but I love seeing their reaction to the finished product. And I love when a lot of times they say like, "Wow, it's so much better than I thought," or like, "It's so much bigger than I hoped it would be," or I like when we go above and beyond their expectations. So that's my favorite. It makes it worth it.
So let's say that I wanted to, book something with you, like a photo, like a backdrop or some kind of balloon design with you. How does that process look as far as like a consultation? Do I give you like ideas or a color theme and you kind of come up with it, or how does that look? What does that look like?
We're really open. So you can tell me exactly, like some people send me a picture and say, this is exactly what I want. And so of course it's never gonna be exactly what they are showing me. But we'll try to get, as close to what they have in mind as possible. And then sometimes they just give us complete creative freedom. But I try to sit with them as best as I can to pull out what they're envisioning. Because if they want something really elegant, we want to stay. I always say that we have to stay within the vibe that you're wanting. So if you want something super elegant, if you want something super modern or boho, we try to stay with what they're thinking. But you can just message us on Instagram, and then we go from there. So we can chat on the phone, or you can come into the shop for a consult, just whatever they're comfortable with.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I see. Like, looking at the gallery on the website, and like you said, I could tell some people go it's like very, very elegant, and then some are just like very youthful and fun. Um,
Mhm.
so I see, like, there's one in particular I need to ask about because I've been seeing this. A lot of
Sure.
like TikTokers do this, where there's like a number, and inside the number, there's like balloons inside of it.
Mhm.
How the heck do y'all do that? Like, you don't have to give me any trade secrets, but like, is that difficult? Because like, it looks like basically for people listening, it looks kind of like a shell of a number, and then
Mhm.
like a shallow shell, and then like inside of there, it's filled with like balloons. And I've seen it a lot with, like I said, like TikTokers or influencers. They post like when they get whatever, however many followers or whatever. So
Uh-huh.
is that difficult to do? Because I mean, you're like literally you have a small space to work with.
To fill in. Yeah, they're completely handmade. So they start with just like a big poster board, and we
Oh wow.
tape down the template, and we have to cut everything out with like call it like a razor, not a razor blade, but an X-Acto knife. And then we have to glue the whole thing together and then fill it with balloons and make sure that every little nook and cranny is filled. So it takes a long time.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's not like super hard, but yeah, it takes a long time.
And while we're just on the subject and stuff, what would you say, if you could remember, was one of your biggest or most challenging events, like that you've had to kind of plan with balloons and stuff? And what would you say is one of the biggest ones that stands out to you?
Um, hmm, the most challenging, I can't really think of it right off the top of my head. I feel like I would have to like look at my photos. But it's sometimes it's difficult if you don't have hard attachments. Like if like there's something that we could tie onto like a light fixture, like something like that, or like pulls. So those are what I call hard attachments. Like they're built in, so they're not gonna come off. When we have to just use all of our own hooks, um, it kind of makes me nervous. I mean, we haven't had like too many, or any really disasters really where like everything falls apart. But it's always, I mean, you never know, especially with the wind and the sun here in Corpus. So yeah, outdoor events are always pretty challenging because it's so hot and the sun can pop the balloons. So we usually try to use a really high quality,
Okay.
and that usually prevents it. But sometimes there's really nothing we can do, and the sun pops the balloons if it's like 110 degrees outside.
Like in August, in the middle of August, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it doesn't pop like all the balloons, but we'll have like one or two pops.
Okay. So then I guess I wanted to ask you because you said that you're going on 5 years of being open. Um, how did COVID last year did the if it affected you? How did it affect you at all? Like I know I've interviewed, I've been around. The podcast has been around for about a year now, just over a year, and I've talked to a lot of people and they've had challenges. And so, how did it affect you and your business? And how did you kind of maneuver around it and kind of you're still standing it? Because a lot of people, small businesses, are not.
Right. So we signed our lease in January of 2020. So right
Oh,
before, the shit hit the fan. Sorry if we
yeah,
can't
no, it's fine. It's fine.
cuss. um, so I was very down in the dumps at the beginning. I was very scared of COVID. I was scared of just everything, like the whole thing altogether just really, really scared me. And I was like, my mom and I had just formed our LLC. We had just become official business partners. So I was like, Mom, what the heck are we gonna do? Like, I don't know what to do. Um, but one of our clients, one of our best clients, Ogody Design, she really helped us, and she said, um, she was checking on us, like she checks like checking with all her vendors, and she was asking us how we're doing, and I was just like telling her, I'm really nervous. I don't know what we're gonna do, and so she asked me to partner up with her, and she created this like what do you call it, like a package. So
Okay.
everybody started wanting those outdoor balloons, like because
Yeah.
people still wanted, a way to celebrate or something to do, and people were doing those drive-by birthday parties and all of that. So she just said, "Look, let's put this together. It'll be a package. I'll design this. You design the balloons." And we just, we just kind of went for it, and we got so busy, like so 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 extremely busy all around Corpus, all around Port A, San Antonio. Um, just putting up balloons outside, and she would organize like a cake and a birthday sign and a few other things, and we just kind of took off. It really did hinder our brick and mortar though, because we didn't open our brick and mortar until December, and it was like
Okay,
4 days before Christmas. So we just had like this shop basically for a year that wasn't open.
man. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you were able to overcome that, especially signing a lease right before, like you said, it hit the
Yes, it was
fan.
very scary.
And it went by fast too. I remember hearing about it a little bit in January. Then February came along. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, there's this thing happening. And then in March, I remember going to work and my boss coming home and my boss calling me, and I'm like, that's weird because at the time she never called, and she's like, hey, we're not opening tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna send a message to all your employees. everyone's shutting down. I need you to go close the store. I'm like, what's happening? Like I felt
What?
like the world was
Yeah.
ending.
I really didn't know what to expect too. And actually really early on, like Marchish, whenever they like extended spring break for kids and said they were gonna have an extra week at home, I really thought that it was gonna be like over after that. Like I thought things were gonna go back to normal after Easter or something.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing on the news somebody saying like things are gonna be like this for the next 2 years. And I thought, there's no way. But yeah, here we are.
What's so funny is the same exact thing with me. I was like, okay, my boss was like, y'all are gonna take 2 weeks off. Um, we'll kind of evaluate then, but plan to be back in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks come by, and she's like, guys, we're gonna be closed until further notice. And I think we were gone until like June or July. So from
Yeah.
March till June or July, and I was like, oh my god, that was crazy. And
Yeah.
and then it's like you feel like you're on vacation for a little bit because you're at home, and then it's like, well, I can't go anywhere. Like everything was
Yeah, there's
closed,
everything's closed.
and so it was wild. And so yeah, I kudos to you and your mom and your business partner for doing that, because I do remember like driving by like through the neighborhood and like seeing I at the time I saw a lot of like doors that were decorated with balloons like for birthdays. Like that was like a
Mhm.
big thing, I think.
Yeah.
And so I was just wondering how you kind of overcame that. And it seems that everyone I've talked to that was thankfully has been able to kind of overcome the pandemic, what they did was reach out to a contact and partner with someone.
Yes, and we had to pivot. So we had to pivot, really quickly. And I don't know if I would have been able to do it on my own, but I'm really grateful to her for reaching out to us and partnering with us. So
That's
yeah, we still work
amazing.
together a lot.
I love that. I love collaborations. I feel like that's,
Mhm.
a lot of times people feel like this is my business, and you're your business, and we have to be enemies, and or there's not
Mhm.
enough room for all of us, but there really is enough room. I mean,
I really do feel like there's enough room for everybody. Yeah, I think, everybody should just be nice to each other.
yeah, for
There
sure.
there are some haters out there, but that's another story.
Oh, girl, I know we could talk offline. I believe me. In the
Right,
podcasting
we would
world,
have
it
to
is
stop the recording.
in the podcasting world, it is not all sunshine and rainbows over here. Believe me.
Mhm.
So I guess one of my last questions is, where, if like someone wanted to start up a business in general, what are a couple of tips or words of advice that you would give someone? A couple of things that they need to kind of be prepared for.
Um, get all your legal stuff in order. Get your DBA, get, a business bank account, get your DBA, get your LLC, get your tax ID, make sure you pay your taxes, um, and just be ready for it because you're gonna have to work when other people are not working, you're gonna have to stay up all night, um you're gonna have to work really hard. So when they say that, you work 80 hours for yourself so you don't have to work 40 for somebody else, it's more like 120 hours for yourself. But it's totally worth it if you can break that barrier and you can get going. People are generally very receptive. Um, and like I kind of thought about opening a brick and mortar, I would think like, who's gonna come? Like is anybody even gonna shop here or want to shop here? But you don't need everybody in the city to support you. You just need a few people, and then that spreads and grows and make connections. Your connections are everything, and be nice.
Be nice. There you go.
Be nice. Hmm.
So now's the time to kind of plug anything and everything you'd like. So where can people find you? Your social media, website, physical address. Where can people find you?
So you can find us. Our website is poshandposy.com. And then you can find us at Posh and Posy on Facebook and Instagram. And our physical address is 4343 Alameda. So we're connected to all of the antique shops.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Therese, so much for being here again. I really appreciate your time. And for the listeners, wherever you are, wherever you're listening, please head out into your community, make a change, and do something good. Have a great day.
Thank you.